Hey guys, welcome to Through the Bible Verse by Verse, a plain and simple study of the entire Bible, book by book, chapter by chapter, and verse by verse. We are in Numbers chapter 16, and this is going to be again, as I told you, Numbers had a lot of impactful stories in it, right? And this is one of them where this great rebellion of Korah, okay? And remember, this is 38 years after, so we're not dealing with them from a new standpoint now, right? A lot of as we're going to get on with this, we're going to see some of the at least notable people die off, and we'll see this. But again, just amazing stories here. Let's get into it. Numbers chapter 16. Now Korah, the son of Ishar, son of Kohath, son of Levi, and Dathan, and Abiram, son of Elab, and On, son of Peleth, son of Reuben, took 250 prominent Israelite men who were the leaders of the community and representative in the assembly, and they rebelled against Moses. Now, this is amazing. Now, remember, this is 35 years since the scouting incident. 38 years, right? 38 years. Since that time, and remember the golden calf. But nevertheless, so we don't have a lot of activity, by the way, that's so you may know. There's a 38-year gap, so we don't know, other than the cloud by day and the pillar of fire by night. It just, the miraculous could have been silent. We just don't know. So this is pretty brazen of them to rebel against Moses. Did they not remember Miriam and Aaron? Look at verse 3. They came together against Moses and Aaron and told them, "You have gone too far. Everyone in the entire community is holy, and the Lord is among them. Why then do you exalt yourself above the Lord's assembly?" Now again, remember, God made it clear when he dealt with Miriam and Aaron, right? He made it clear. So this is pretty brazen for them. Verse 4. When Moses heard this, he fell down, and then he said to Korah and to all his followers, "Tomorrow morning the Lord will reveal who belongs to him, who is set apart, and the one he will let come near him. He will let the one he chose to come near him." So, verse 6. Korah, you and all of your followers are to do this. Take fire pans, and tomorrow place the fire in them and put incense on them before the Lord. Then the man the Lord chooses will be the one who is set apart. It is you Levites who have gone too far. So he said, now you Levites, right? Moses also told Korah, "Now listen, Levites, isn't it enough for you that the God of Israel has separated you from the Israelites community to bring you near to himself, to perform the work of the Lord's tabernacle and to stand before the community to minister to him? He has brought you near, and all of your fellow Levites who are with you, but you are seeking the priesthood as well." So this is kind of interesting here. Now remember the priesthood, God, and then the community, that the tribe of Levites were to minister in this way. Now he said, now this was a gift for God. And again, brazen on their part. Verse 11. Therefore, it is you and all your followers who have conspired against the Lord. And as for Aaron, who is he that you should complain about him? Moses sent for Dathan and Abiram, the son of Eliab, but they said, "We will not come. It is not. Is it not enough that you brought us up from a land flowing with milk and honey, to kill us in the wilderness? Do you also have appointed yourselves as rulers over us?" Now again, this is amazing because God Himself spoke to them. In other words, where are they getting this from? Now the land of milk and honey He's referring to is Egypt, which they've been always. This has always been their sin, which is why they're dying in the wilderness, right? But the fact that they now are seeking to usurp authority. Verse 14. Furthermore, you didn't bring us to a land flowing with milk and honey, or give us inheritance of fields of vineyards. Will you gorge out the eyes of these men? We will not come. Now, did they not remember why God, in other words, God did bring them to the land of milk and honey, but they refused to go in? Right? People sometimes, will sometimes forget their own sin. Right? Why is this happening to me? Why are these bad things happening to me? Did they not forget the reason, the very exact reason why they're in this situation is because they refused to go in? God did bring them to the land that flowed with milk and honey, but they refused to go in. He did bring them to there. All right, verse 15. Then Moses became angry and said to the Lord, "Don't respect their offering. I have not taken one donkey from them or mistreated a single one of them." So Moses told Korah, "You and all your fellow followers are to appear before the Lord tomorrow, you, they, and Aaron." Now, if I were them, if I could tell them, I would go, "Don't go." I would be repenting and begging God for mercy. Don't go. But again, we see this hardness of heart. We see this callousness of heart against God, which in and of itself is amazing. It says God has already spoken and said, Moses. And let me refresh your memory. Remember, when Miriam and Aaron, who criticized the Cushite woman that Moses had married, they went a step further and says, "Well, you're not the only one God speaks to." And God came and said, "Yeah, Moses is the only one I speak to." He says, not only that, he says, "But when I choose a prophet, I will reveal myself to that prophet, the everyday card-carrying prophet, in visions and dreams." He says, "But not so my servant Moses. Him I speak face to face." How was it that you're not afraid to criticize him? And here are these guys, and notice 250 of them. Verse 17. I'll go back to verse 16. So Moses told Korah, "You and all your followers are to appear before the Lord tomorrow. You, they, and Aaron. Each of you is to take his fire pan, place incense on it, and present his fire pans before the Lord. 250 fire pans. You and Aaron are each to present your fire pans also." Each man took his fire pan, placed fire in it, and put incense on it, and stood at the entrance of the tent of the meeting, along with Moses and Aaron. After Korah assembled the whole community against them at the entrance of the tent of the meeting, the glory of the Lord appeared to the whole community. Now this is, again, if I was there, I would say, Korah, now would be a good time to repent. Right now, right about now. Verse 20. The Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, "Separate yourselves from this community, so I may consume them instantly." But Moses and Aaron fell face down and said, God of the spirits of all flesh, when one man sinned, will you vent your wrath on the whole community? The Lord replied to Moses, "Tell the community," now this is very interesting, "tell the community, get away from the dwellings of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram." Right? Now watch this. Now get away from them. So now who's going to get away from them? Verse 25, Moses got up and went to Dathan and Abiram and the elders of Israel following him. He warned the community, get away from the tents of these wicked men. Don't touch anything that belongs to them, or you'll be swept away because of all of their sins. So they got away from the dwellings of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. Meanwhile, Dathan and Abiram came out and stood at the entrance of their tents with their wives, children, and infants. Now this is kind of the sad part, because the infants and the children are also going to be swept away with the sin of their father. This is the sad part. And their wives too. Verse 28, then Moses said, this is how you will know that the Lord sent me to do all these things, and that it was not of my own will. He said, if these men die naturally, as all people would, and suffer the fate of all men, then the Lord has not sent me. In other words, if you just died natural death, then God didn't send me. But if the Lord brings about something unprecedented, and the ground opens its mouth and swallows them along with all that belongs to them, so that they go down alive into Sheol, then you will know that these men have despised the Lord. Now, Sheol is referred to as the grave. Usually, the most general use of the word Sheol, the term Sheol, is the grave. Just as he finished speaking all these words, the ground beneath them split open. The earth opened its mouth and swallowed them and their household, all Korah's people and all their possessions. So everything that was there, that's why he told them, don't grab anything. This would not be a time to be greedy. This would not be a time to be covetous. Verse 33, they went down alive into Sheol with all that belongs to them. So this is kind of interesting. The earth closed over them, and they vanished from the assembly. In other words, the earth just opened up and swallowed them and then closed back up. Verse 34, at their cries, all the people of Israel who were around them fled, because they thought the earth may swallow us too. Fire also came out from the Lord and consumed the 250 men who were presenting the incense. Now, the earth opening up probably was a smaller opening, restricted to, Korah, Dathan, Abiram. So then you had the 250, and fire is just like knocking them right. The fire, okay? Verse 36. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, tell Eleazar, son of Aaron, the priest, to remove the fire pans from the burning debris, because they are holy, and scatter the fire far away. As for the fire pans of those who sinned at the cost of their own lives, make them into hammered sheets and platings for the altar, for they presented them before the Lord, and the fire pans are holy, and they will be a sign to the Israelites. Wow, right? So Eleazar the priest, now Eleazar, remember, is the son of Aaron, who would also become kind of the successor of Aaron. But so Eleazar the priest took the bronze fire pans that those who were burned had presented, and they were hammered into platings for the altar, just as the Lord commanded him through Moses. And it would be a reminder for the Israelites that no unauthorized person outside of the lineage of Aaron should approach and offer incense before the Lord and become like Korah and his followers. So that's kind of a whole thing. In other words, when Korah and them decided they were going to be leaders against God, the establishment of God, he said, "No, won't happen. Won't happen." By the way, remember, they knew this. They knew this. Okay? They knew this. Verse 41. The next day, the entire Israelite community complained about Moses and Aaron, saying, "You have killed the Lord's people." What? Did they not see? Remember, did they not see the day before the earth opening up? You would think this would humble them. You would think this would humble them. Whatever you want, God, right? No, they came and they complained. Verse 42. And when the community assembled, against them, Moses and Aaron turned towards the tent of the meeting, and suddenly a cloud covered it, and the Lord's glory appeared. Verse 43, Moses and Aaron went to the front of the tent meeting, and the Lord said to Moses, get away from this community so that I may consume them instantly. But they fell face down. In other words, they're going to pray for them again, right? They're going to pray for them again. Then Moses told Aaron, take your fire pan and place fire from the altar in it and add incense. Go quickly to the community and make atonement for them because wrath has come from the Lord. The plague has begun. So now, you almost could be like, how could they not escape? How could they not escape the wrath of God, right? Verse 47. So Aaron took his fire pan as Moses had ordered, ran into the middle of the assembly, and saw that the plague had begun among the people. After he added incense, he made atonement for the people. He stood between the dead and the living, and the plague was halted. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing, right? And by the way, remember, this is just the day after that the ground opened and swallowed up Korah and his group. Verse 49, but those who died from the plague numbered 14,700, in addition to those who died because of Korah's incident. Aaron then returned to Moses at the entrance to the tent of the meeting, since the plague had been halted. Amazing. All I can say is amazing. Like I said, that it is these kinds of stories to me that continually show the sinful nature of man. How bad is sin? How bad is sin? And I am humbled. I am thankful for God's mercy, because I often wonder, could I have been in that group, by the way, that exists today? You could have the most sweetest grandma, but yet exceedingly sinful before God. And I'm not talking about the kind of wickedness where they're pagan worship and all that kind of stuff. I have seen it. They can be the sweetest person, would give you the clothes off of their back, but just so obstinate against God. That's the sinfulness of nature. Now, we oftentimes don't have, this won't be kind of manifested to really the time of the beast and the tribulation period. We see glimpses of it from people, and oftentimes people hide behind it. People hide behind our culture, okay, in terms of what they think is right and wrong. But you think sometimes that if this person, if we just told this person about Jesus, if we just told them about the love of God, maybe they would change. No, sometimes they wouldn't. Their sinfulness of the heart that they harbor is unbelievable. All right, guys. Chapter 17 in the next study. I'll see you then.